Parents in Arizona are becoming outraged as Democratic Governor Katie Hobbs went forth with her plans to reverse the state's school choice voucher program expansion, limiting the number of students eligible for taxpayer-funded scholarships. For more on this, let's welcome in the Director of External Affairs for the American Federation of Children, Valeria Gurr. Valeria, thank you so much for joining us. So let's talk about this. Governor Katie Hobbs has asked legislatures to reverse the state's expansion of its school choice program. So basically what that does is it limits those eligible for scholarships. Talk to us more about what's going on there.
I think the fact that the governor is deciding to go after families and children are looking to pursue their best options is outrageous behavior. We know I work very closely with Hispanic families that wanted to have access to this program during the summer. And we know that the pandemic has left families behind, students behind. Perhaps the NAEPS scores show in Arizona that Hispanic students went down between 6 points to 8 points. So right now it's 50,000, nearly 50,000 students accessing to a scholarship that would allow them to access to an education that meet their needs. And the pandemic effects have been felt particularly more among communities of color. So it's very sad that this is a political move. The governor just started at the job, and the fact that he's coming after families is an outrageous behavior. And we know that these families are going to fight back, and they're not going to allow this to happen.
Yeah, you know, after COVID, a lot of parents pulled their kids out of school and put them in other schools just because they weren't happy with what was happening. Governor Katie Hobbs noted in her State of the Address to the importance of education. Take a listen.
Education gave me a chance to climb my way up and build a better life. And I know that's true for countless other Arizonans and for many here in this chamber today. And that's why I've spent so much of my public life fighting for better schools and to level the playing field. And that's exactly what I'll continue to do as governor.
All right, Valeria, she talked about leveling the playing field and fighting, for education. Given her thoughts on this, does this seem like this plan makes sense for families and children?
Not at all. Perhaps trying to get rid of a program that is helping the most needed families that need it most. Like I mentioned to you, I work with hundreds of Hispanic families over the summer that were trying to give access for once to an education that meet their needs, quality educations. And we know that the traditional public school system does not often serve those needs. As a Hispanic myself, I know Hispanic families were some of the populations that suffered the most. And it's not just from the pandemic. It has been going on for a very, very long time. If you're not assigned to an area that meets your need or has more funding, essentially you have to endure the circumstances of your zip code. And I was personally so excited to see when Governor Ducey decided to give every single family access to a quality education, one that can meet their needs, and this program was doing just that. There's over almost 50,000 students at this time that have a scholarship. So essentially erasing this program would mean that these kids will have to go back to a school that was not meeting their needs.
Yeah.
It's simply not fair, and it's essentially not saying what her speech that you showed me just mentioned.
Absolutely. We have about 30 seconds left. What have parents said to you, and how do you plan? Is there any way that you can reverse this?
I think where we have seen in her actions in just the first week, just putting this in basically cutting out of the budget and saying that wants to get rid of the program is just outrageous behavior. We don't know we don't know what she is going to do next. But one thing we know is that parents are going to fight back, just as they did over their summer. They do want to have access to freedom of education and quality education for their kids. And Hispanic moms are going to fight this back. I know that there's a high population of Hispanics in Arizona. And we're tired. We're tired of not having a seat at the table. We're tired that our kids have to endure all the circumstances of a system that is failing us.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry we have to let you go, but we've seen this in schools across the country. It really does come down to the parents speaking up and fighting for their kids' rights. Valeria Gurr, thank you so much. Keep us posted.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Rob?
All right.